I was born on a farm about 14 miles northeast of here, and I grew up on the farm. My oldest brother was in the Air Force. He was a repairman, and my other brother, the next to him down, was a Navy man. They made me into an infantry. I had some chance of getting into the air. I didn't figure I could fly an airplane. I mean, even with all kinds of training. I was feeling pretty good about that. They took me down, but I had a wound in the hip, which come from a grenade, a German grenade. Well, to back up a bit, we were in this building on the edge of winter spell, and we were firing the M1 rifle at the German convoys. And in a mix-up, it wound up, I was ammunition bearer for a machine gun, and it got so mixed up that I wound up without a sidearm, and I had 2 boxes of ammunition and nothing to shoot it in. Well, finally I come across this other GI who was supposed to be looking out the window and firing a rifle. I come in there and I bellowed, "Why in the hell aren't you firing at those Germans out there?" Well, he says, I didn't want to draw fire. And you know, at the moment, it didn't really sink in, but it took a few years, and then I started laughing about it. Well, of course, it makes sense. If you don't shoot somebody, most likely they won't shoot back at you. I was on the rifle, and I stopped shooting for just a few seconds, and it was really tight. The weaving it in. No, I set that rifle down. I was there about 5 seconds, and I heard German voices. And there's a little hole in the side of the building where I had the rifle through, and I just took a very cautious peek, because if they'd have got there a little bit later, I'd have probably had to roll hole stitching around through me, because there was a board in the stone wall, and then right in the center was a small opening. Well, I figured with a rifle, stick it out of that hole, I just wave goodbye to him, because you can't move it. It's too slow. So I decided on a grenade. And I don't know if I should say I take pride in being slow, but right then and there I could have beat any computer on earth. The head just went. Of course, this is part of training. Hey, you can't move that rifle. You got it. Next thing's a grenade. And as I was doing all that, I was moving, setting myself in position to throw that thing out of that hole. Because if I didn't get that thing out of that hole, I was going to make an awful mess for myself. And had the grenade, I cradled it in my right hand, pulled the pin, and then I let my fingers open so the lever fell off, or flew off. And when I let that trigger go, you had 4 seconds. 5 seconds on the grenade, and I was counting on that thing, and I got to 3, and I was going 1001, 1002, 1003, and that on 3 I had that thing going out the window. Well, I didn't stand around to see what happened. I started for the back door. And the Germans had a drop on some GIs, and I no sooner got out of the door than kaboom! What they had done. Now I don't. The one guy that was surrendering to the Germans, said he seen that thing coming out the window. But there's nothing. But when I got around in the front, either they hurried off some dead people, or it just didn't. I had a wound in this hip, not a severe wound. And the guy behind me, he had a cut across his nose. I was captured in Winterspelt, Germany. I was captured on December the 17th, 1944. But now I was captured along with a couple other guys. Well, I think there was 4 of us. But they took us behind the lines, treated us with first aid, mixed in with German soldiers. It was just as mixed as a grocery line. There was no race, no German or American or anything. And I looked up ahead, and I see the German doctor giving him. He had a needle, and he was giving shots of some kind. And I thought, what in the devil? I wonder what that is. And then the next thing come to me, hey, you don't have any choice. Just forget it. You know, I thought, who knows what somebody might do in something like that. But anyway, we got on the bus, and it was about 3 days, and we just didn't have. I can't think of anything else that took place in those 3 days. We had no time to eat. We didn't have anything to eat, and it was just go. Well, here you sit, shoulder to shoulder, with the next person next to you. Well, you weren't in front and behind anybody. Well, so here we are in this bus, and a little while later, I don't know how much later it was, and I come to, and I moved my head a little bit, and then it sounded like metal rubbing metal. Well, I had all of my uniform on, helmet and my leggings and everything, and so I tipped my head back to see what that noise was, and when I looked, here was myself and a German, both soldiers, and we had fallen asleep, and here's the the helmet, American helmet leaning that way, German helmet leaning this way, and there we were, up, and the first words that come to my mind was, "This is weird." Here we are, we're down to a level of just 2 people, level. He was a soldier, I was a soldier, and it didn't, I'm losing some of my steam. Then the next thing I thought of, and all the crazy things, boy, this would sure make some snapshot, wouldn't it, though? And never seen the guy after that. They took us on back, and we were kind of heading in the direction of Cologne, a little closer to Cologne, and then they put us on a train. And we were heading then, we went through Cologne, they stopped the train in Cologne with they really wasn't packed with prisoners, but well, I don't know how many, whether there was 100 or 10 on there. But anyway, there was enough to make it worthwhile hauling us away from there. We got to Fallingbostel, and they did a search of us again. They loaded us on the boxcar in January. Well, we were loaded there at Fallingbostel, and they started out. Well, no sooner had the lock went shut on the door, on the boxcar, and heard planes diving, and I know they were P-47s because I've seen them do it later. Well, they come thundering over that boxcar. They were going crossways. Now, it was a nice, beautiful day. The fog had gone away. And that first plane went over, and I knew what they were doing. They were going to strafe. They did not pull the trigger, but I didn't know that wasn't going to happen. They just checking that plane out, or that train out real close. Well, you know, when that first plane went over there, I just kind of like this. Well, let's see. Doors locked. You can't get out. Don't do any good to swear. You can't run, and you don't need to cry. It won't do you any good. And I just leaned back against the side of that boxcar, and I was so peaceful. I was in peace with the world. I figured maybe that there'd be a row of holes come through there, and that's it. But we sat there while the planes, they made 3 passes. And the first pass they made, they had their machine guns on the planes. That thing's a heck of a racket when it went over. And when it went away, when they stopped, I well, it was no more, I had no more emotions than picking up the newspaper. Well, what are you going to do? Just die like a man? I didn't even think that. I just, well, this is it. Just, relax. And the silence went on for a little bit longer after the plane stopped, and over in the corner of the boxcar come a kind of a plaintive voice, and to think I enlisted. And the whole bunch of us all burst out laughing in just one group. And that episode was over with.